When Admiral Byrd led what was called a routine mission to Antarctica in 1946, nothing about it felt routine. The size alone was strange. Thousands of men, ships, planes, and equipment sent to a place almost nobody lived in. According to scattered reports, the team first found warm valleys where no warmth should exist. Then came the shock. Shapes under the ice that looked like buildings, carved with perfect edges tight enough to fit a sheet of paper between them. Instruments stopped working. Metal devices with unknown symbols were collected. Photos went missing. Files were locked away. People were moved off the case. But Antarctica wasn't the only place with strange finds. Up north, the Arctic held its own impossible secrets. In 1913, explorer Vilhjalmur Stephenson set out to study the Arctic, but what his team found should not have existed in a frozen desert. They reported rooms inside the permafrost that stayed warm without fuel or fire. Some structures were shaped in ways that match modern engineering, but stronger. Then they found devices that tracked stars far beyond normal navigation tools, able to predict celestial movements decades ahead. Deep inside the ice were chambers holding sealed records, written in forms no one could read. When the team returned, officials shut everything down. Areas were marked off, and members were quietly watched. Now, as the Arctic ice melts, new shapes appear and then disappear into government hands. Just like Antarctica, the Arctic points to a lost polar civilization. If the ice raised questions, the jungle raised fear because the Amazon took an explorer and his discovery without a trace. Percy Fawcett vanished in the Amazon while searching for what he called the City of Z, but the real story begins with the sudden end of his messages. Only later did his recovered notes show what he had walked into. He wrote about wide terraces built into hillsides, long road systems hidden beneath trees, and dark engineered soil that could grow crops for centuries. He claimed to have seen metal alloys made with techniques unknown to the region. Local tribes spoke of the Guardians, a group they feared and respected. After his disappearance, several governments stepped in, blocking searches and collecting his notes. Fawcett vanished, but strange finds didn't stop. The Gobi Desert revealed something even harder to explain. The first shock in the Gobi wasn't a ruin or a statue. It was metal tools found inside rock layers that should have been millions of years old. Roy Chapman Andrews, known for dinosaur hunts, stumbled onto something entirely different. His team reported libraries carved straight into stone walls, filled with strange symbols and star charts showing the sky as it looked long before humans existed. Nearby were metal pieces shaped with clean, machine-like cuts, and a hidden lab hollowed out beneath the desert ground. None of them matched accepted timelines. When word reached governments, the region was quickly sealed off. Scientists argued over the impossible dating, but access was restricted before answers could come. But the desert wasn't the end of it. High in Tibet, an explorer uncovered secrets that sparked instant suppression. Before Nicholas Roerich could even finish his 1924 journey through Central Asia and Tibet, the Soviets reacted. Documents were taken, questions were asked, and his findings were pulled from public view. Only later did pieces of his notes reveal what triggered such a strong response. Roerich had found sealed chambers hidden inside mountain monasteries, stacked with maps of places unknown to modern geography. Star charts inside predicted future alignments with uncanny accuracy. Some scrolls even showed machines with gears and designs that match modern engineering. There were also texts that seemed to foresee inventions centuries before they existed. Soviet intelligence collected nearly everything, leaving researchers today with fragments. Access to the original manuscripts remains tightly restricted, and many locations Roerich visited are now closed off. Those texts were shocking, but the Sahara took it even further. Rock art there pointed to technology no one expected. Henri Lotte entered the Sahara in 1933, expecting simple rock drawings, but the first walls he examined showed something else. Figures that looked like aircraft, engines, and people wearing protective suits. These weren't simple hunting scenes. As his team explored further, they uncovered buried structures beneath shifting sand, tunnels, water channels, and signs of enormous irrigation systems built when the Sahara was still green. Some metal objects they found were made with precision that didn't belong to ancient times. Lote tried to publish everything, but colonial officials blocked much of his work, calling it too sensitive. Decades later, satellite scans revealed geometric shapes, long corridors, and foundations stretching across areas once dismissed as empty desert. And while the Sahara raised eyebrows, the Himalayas raised alarms. Two world powers started fighting over what was hidden there. Before Ernest Schaefer even reached the Himalayas in 1938, a quiet conflict had already begun. Nazi agents and Allied intelligence were racing each other, not for land, but for something rumored to be hidden in remote monasteries. Only later did it become clear what sparked the rush. Schaefer's reports described devices that seemed impossible, stones that lost weight when activated, engines that produced steady power without fuel, and mechanisms that reacted when someone focused their mind on them. Tibetan monks sensed danger and hid many of these objects or destroyed them outright. After China took control of the region, most of the sites were closed and outside researchers were turned away. But the mysteries didn't stay on land. The Pacific held clues to a forgotten ocean empire. Before Thor Heyerdahl began his 1947 Kon-Tiki journey, island elders across the Pacific told stories of ancient sea routes that stretched farther than modern maps suggested. When Heyerdahl reached remote islands, he found more than cultural clues. He saw massive stones placed with exact angles that allowed them to resist earthquakes. Tools built for navigation using star patterns so precise they matched professional observatories. Some islands showed signs of old mining operations, with materials traced back to lands thousands of miles away. Yet many academics dismissed everything, calling it myth. Over the years, oceanographic surveys quietly uncovered underwater structures and long-distance migration paths that supported Heyerdahl's claims. Piece by piece, evidence now points to a prehistoric ocean empire that mastered travel long before recorded history. And the story didn't end at sea. Australia carried knowledge that history chose to ignore. When Grafton Elliott Smith studied Aboriginal sites in 1931, he expected simple carvings. Instead, he found records that looked more like scientific logs than artwork. Some stones showed cosmic cycles charted with incredible accuracy. Others mapped ancient landscapes with geological detail only modern surveys could confirm. Navigation symbols hinted at mathematical methods used to travel huge distances across Australia's harsh terrain. There were also signs of organized mining and environmental engineering planned on a large scale. But instead of celebrating this knowledge, colonial officials feared it would undermine their narrative of indigenous primitiveness. Many findings were hidden or dismissed, and access to sacred sites later became restricted. And if that was surprising, this last one is shocking, because the Maya didn't just build temples, they built machines. During Alberto Ruiz Lulier's 1952 excavation at Palenque, he expected tombs and artwork, not machines. But as he cleared the chambers, he found metal components shaped with clean precision, gears that showed almost no wear, and alloys that scientists still struggle to explain. Some devices matched the layout of astronomical computers, designed to track sky movements with incredible accuracy. In deeper rooms, he uncovered sealed boxes containing what looked like engineering notes, diagrams, and instructions. Once the news reached officials, the site changed overnight. Government teams removed artifacts, sealed off parts of the ruins, and classified most findings. Academic focus shifted toward Mayan art and language, while the technological discoveries were quietly pushed aside, leaving only hints of what the Maya might have really built. So these explorers didn't just travel the world, they found things that history still refuses to explain. If you want to uncover more hidden truths, hit subscribe and join the journey.